If we see a child who is 2 or 3, perhaps 4 years old, we find a free human. Very young children are not afraid to express what they feel. They are not afraid to love. They don't worry about the past, don't care about the future, and only live in the present moment. As children, our normal human tendency is to enjoy life, to play, to explore, to be happy, and to love. But what has happened with the adult human? Why are we so different? The humans who take care of us teach us what they know, which means they program us with knowledge, including all the social, religious, and moral rules of their culture. They hook our attention, pass on the information, and teach us to be like them. We learn how to be a man or a woman according to the society in which we are born. We learn how to behave the right way in our society, which means how to be a good human. In truth, we are domesticated the same way that a dog, a cat, or any animal is domesticated, through a system of punishment and reward. We're told that we're a good boy or a good girl when we do what the grown-ups want us to do. We're a bad boy or a bad girl when we don't do what they want us to do. Just as the government has a book of laws that rule the society's dream, our belief system is the book of laws that rules our mind. Without question, whatever is in that book of law is our truth. There's something in our minds that judges everybody and everything, including the weather, the dog, the cat, everything. The inner judge uses what is in our book of law to judge everything we do and don't do, everything we think and don't think, and everything we feel and don't feel. There's another part of us that receives the judgments. The victim carries the blame, the guilt, and the shame. It is the part of us that says, "Poor me, I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not worthy of love." The big judge agrees and says, "Yes, you're not good enough." Every time we do something that goes against the book of law, the judge says we are guilty. We need to be punished. Out of fear of being punished and fear of not getting a reward, we start trying to please other people. We form an image of perfection, the way we wish to be, but we know that we are not, and we begin to judge ourselves for that. We don't like ourselves, and we tell ourselves, "Look how silly you look, how ugly you are. Look how fat, how short, how weak, how stupid you are." Before domestication, we don't care what we are or what we look like. After domestication, we try to be good enough for everybody else, but we're no longer good enough for ourselves because we can never live up to our image of perfection. 95% of the beliefs we have stored in our minds are nothing but lies, and we suffer because we believe all these lies.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, every mind is a magnet. Every mind is a magnet. There's no avoiding that. That is what the ancient philosophers called the law of the Lord. And the ancient philosophers also said, the Lord of the law is no respecter of persons. The law of mind works for everybody. It doesn't matter what your race, your creed, or your color may be. Because again, the subconscious, which the ancient philosophers called the heart, and in the Bible it's called the heart, but Freud calls it the subconscious. The subconscious is that silent listener. And everybody has that subconscious part of the mind, which is a silent listener that hears everything you say, and it is impressed by everything you feel and everything you think. A lot of people never know why certain things happen in their lives, or why certain things don't. But now I want you to understand something. Everything material really begins on the spiritual level. Our Father is in heaven. Father means spiritual source. Most of you Christians think that our Father in heaven is an old man with gray beard sitting up there on a throne. Our Father in heaven is the highermost creative principle. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Where? In earth, just like it is done. A man can receive no thing unless it be given him from heaven. I'm going to risk a little more heresy, but let me explain something to you from the point of physics. And I've got to touch on money here again as a vibration, and as a psychic vibration on that level for a moment. There is a certain point of vibration where thoughts become things, where the invisible becomes visible. Nothing is really static. Everything is in motion. Even this lectern here that seems solid, it is not. It began as an invisible idea in heaven, at the very highest source with our Father. And when that idea began to come down, it got to the mental and the psychic level. And some man sat down with pad and paper or with a computer and sketched it out. And that thought became a thing.
In the early 70s, Michael Singer was a young economics student studying for his doctorate. Sitting with a friend one day, he noticed a lull in their conversation, and in that quiet little lull moment, he became aware of the thoughts that were running through his head. He realized that voice, that incessant voice that expresses worries and doubts and anxieties, was not really him, but he was the observer of the voice. That inner dialogue was an expression of his psyche, not his soul. And that was the beginning of his awakening.
And that was my path. That was the beginning of my path.
So what happened actually in that moment now that you can describe? I know Eckhart Tolle has said that that is the awareness, the voice, the awareness of the thoughts, or the awareness of the voice inside your head is where consciousness resides. And that is who we really are.
Yes.
So that's what you came to.
Yes.
That was your open door.
Yes.
To the path to understanding yourself as a spiritual being inside a physical human
I love
body.
that you said, with the mind, is that really is the beginning of spirituality.
That is.
Because to separate what you're not from what you are, if you don't do that,
right,
you're going to stay lost. The self is spiritual. The one who's watching is the gateway to spirituality. So if you continue to just get involved in the mind, in the thoughts of the mind, this true spiritual path doesn't take place.
What is the voice inside of
The
you?
voice in the head, sort of like how, let's say your boss yells at you, and then you're in the shower thinking of all the things you could be saying to the boss back, or what I should have said. That's that sort of voice, and you found yourself somehow distanced from it.
Yes, I was detached from that, and I noticed it wasn't me. It was something I was watching. It's just that simple. You don't have to get philosophical about it. It's like I'm noticing that while I'm taking my shower, I have entertainment going on inside my head. Somebody's sitting there talking to me. And then it didn't take very long for me to realize it really wasn't that entertaining. It was like pretty negative. It was mostly psychological mumbo jumbo, insecurities and fear and defensiveness and, finishing arguments that happened 7 years ago are still going on in my head. It was like, it was quite an awakening. And I realized that was always going on in there, but I wasn't aware of it. I was too protective, too involved in it, okay? And now I had woken up to a certain degree.
Why do you think most people don't detach from that voice? Do you think maybe they're thinking, if I think about an argument long enough, I'm going to have the right answer?
It all is fear. By the time you get, because I spent a lot of time with this, by the time you get to the bottom of it, we're scared in here. Like we're in here, we don't know where we came from, we don't even know how we got here, right? We're just in here. And we look out through our eyes, there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people, places, things, noises, colors, shapes from the day we're born, right? And so because of fear, because of loss, the sense of I'm lost, I'm just in here and I don't know what to do, we start developing this psyche inside that tries to be okay. That's what it is. I'm scared and I'm trying to be okay. That's the bottom line for everybody.
She writes, I feel like my mind is racing at enormous speed, and at night it's even worse. How can I stop the constant stream of consciousness in my mind?
Good question.
Thanks, Laura.
Many people will be thankful for that question.
Yes.
So, first of all, the question implies that you know that your mind won't stop.
Yes.
If you are totally immersed, you're so identified with your mind, even the thought that your mind won't stop doesn't even occur to you because you become your mind.
Yeah, you don't know that it is your mind that won't stop.
Yes.
So, Laura, you're ahead of the game.
Okay.
The fact that Laura knows that her mind won't stop is a good thing.
It's a good start. So when you hear the thought, why can't I stop my mind? Don't believe it, because you can stop your mind. How? You can choose to take your attention away from thinking, and the first thing you do as you lie there in bed, you ask yourself, can I feel the energy inside my hands?
Yeah.
In other words, can I feel that my hands are there without touching anything? Can I feel that there's an energy inside my hands? And after a little while, most people can. There's a slight tingling or aliveness that you can feel when the energy goes in there. Mm-hmm. And that's an enormous step that you've already taken, because immediately thinking will slow down because it no longer has your whole attention.
Got it.
And then see, can you incorporate the whole body?
The whole body.
Can you sense your legs and arms?
So why does that work and not just Laura saying to herself, let me think about something else?
There's no anchor then for presence, and the mind has such momentum that you won't be able to stop it.
Got it.
You need an anchor for presence. And the inner body, as I call it, is a wonderful anchor for the state of presence.
Laura, I hope you got that too. That's why you just can't say, okay, I'm going to think about something else.
Yes. And then the
you
wonderful
have to actively
choose. Not about something else, just go into the body, and then thinking slows down. You might even stop completely for a while. And the amazing thing is, what before was an unpleasant, dreadful, sleepless night, within a few minutes can actually be transformed into a very pleasant experience of feeling the inherent aliveness in your whole body and your life.
First of all, I'm very encouraged by how many people are awake and how many people are waking up. It's an evolution of consciousness. It's like the next level of our awakening, right? It's like we used to just work with our bodies. As the cave people just work with their bodies. Oh my God, I got to stay alive, right? And then it became this more sociological type situation, right? And now it's becoming more spiritual. And I just think it's an evolutionary process, and there are more people waking up, and everyone can wake up. Everyone can have this level of awakening. And maybe part of it, to be honest, is because we live in a culture where we don't have to worry about clothing ourselves and the basic needs. Maslow talked about the hierarchy of needs, right? Mm-hmm. And he talked about self-actualization, right, as being once you've taken care of some of these lower things. Well, many of us, most of us, and again, we should consider us fortunate because it's not true of everybody, don't have to struggle with the basic things every day. right? And so that allows for an opening. Most people don't take that opening. They just become neurotic about something else, right? It's almost like that. It's almost like the need for the physical needs and staying alive. We shift that over. Survival gets shifted over to the ego. I have a self-concept about how I want people to think of me and how successful I am and so on. Now I have to protect that. I have to figure out how to feed that. So really, it's almost like survival got moved to the psyche. You hear me? All right? Well, this is the next level where you transcend that and you wake up.